attorney, a man who's done much work in activism and black activism and nationalism around the country and around the world. We want to introduce to you this afternoon Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, please give yourself a hand. Stand here. Give yourself a hand, please. Thank you for coming out. All right. Giving honor to God, I bear witness that regardless the land, label, or language, or wherever you're from or who you are, I bear witness there is but one God. I want to thank everyone for coming out. My name is Malik Shabazz, M-A-L-I-K-S-H-A-B-A-Z-Z. My name is Malik Shabazz. I'm the National President of Black Lawyers for Justice, and I'm a member of the Black Men's Movement. The Black Men's Movement, who is the sponsor for the 10,000 Black Men's March and the Black Men's National Convention, which is coming right here to Washington, D.C. in April 2018. That, once again, April 18th through the 22nd, right here in Washington, D.C. is the National Black Men's Convention, and it's the 10,000 Black Men's March on the Saturday of April 21st and the Sunday of April 22nd, right here, right outside these doors, starting at the Big Chair. And of course, many here know that one of the highlights of our convention, one of, not all, one of the highlights of our convention is the Saturday March, which will leave right here in Southeast D.C. And 10,000 strong, we want to march right on the doorstep of old Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America. So I'll get right back to you on that specifically. I want to say that this is Monday, October 16th, 2017, and this is the 22nd anniversary of that Million-Man March that came here to Washington, D.C., that called for atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility, and that call was made by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Many of us today who are watching and who are in this audience, or were in this audience, you were inspired, or some of you, your parents were inspired by October 16th, 1995, where over 1 million black men gathered here in this city. They say 2 million. Certainly it was higher than the National Park Service indicated. But we would thank him, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we thank him for his strong address yesterday as we watched it on NOI.org. Thank God that we have a man here at 84 years of age that is still working hard to free our people and to give us what we deserve: freedom, justice, equality, a nation of our own. Okay, so now we are here following up. We are here saying that the problems that exist in our community, that I'm going to outline, that those problems and the resolution of those problems rest with the black man. Don't make a lot of moves here. Just a moment. Let's give Brother Ronald Moten here. He's one of the community's hardest workers here. I'm here with Dr. Amy Jenkins. She's in the Black Power movement. All of the men here. Brother Haki Ami, a success scholar of our economic movement. Brother Ahmed Asalam, the gentrification movement. Let's give him a round of applause. Brother Dashan Farah, all of you others who will meet, and our pastor here. All right, so let's. I won't be long, but I want to be strong. I want to hear from everybody, but let me lay out a few things for you. What we're doing and why we're doing it. We are here because we have determined that the problems that we face here in Washington, D.C., the problems that we face here in the black community, the problems that we face from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that these problems must be addressed and they must be tackled by us as black men. We say that we as black men are the sleeping giant. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We are the sleeping giant of this region. We are the sleeping giant of this city, and we are the sleeping giant of this nation. And we're facing serious odds right now. Right now, I come from, and I'm about to head into Charlottesville, Virginia in the morning. I'm the defense counsel for Brother Corey Long. Many of those who were involved in that white right demonstration, that white right riot by Richard Spencer and others in Charlottesville on August the 12th, where our people were beat, where our people's legs were broken, where even a woman who was killed down there in the growing skinhead, Klan, and white racist violence.
Right.
Yeah, some of them have been arrested, but they've also cracked down on black people who were victims there. They have also arrested everybody there, fitting in line with the president's position that everybody's equal on all sides, which we know is not the case.
Right.
What am I saying here? I'm saying here on the announcement of the 10,000 Black Men's March, which will be on the 21st of April. What I'm here saying is that there's a rising tide of white racism and white supremacy growing in America, and the head of the white supremacist movement is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And what we're saying is that we as black men are not going to sit back, allow Donald Trump to call black men, our brothers, other men, sons of bitches.
Right.
Pardon my language, but I'm using his language.
That's right.
We're not going to allow him to call us sons of bitches, and by inference calling our mothers, the black woman, a bitch.
That's
Bingo.
right.
Is that right?
That's
Because
right.
if you are the son, he's talking about your mama.
Right.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you that the black man here today, coming from this city, is not going to tolerate it just a few blocks away.
That's
That's
right.
That we will see Mr. Trump on his doorstep, and we will work tirelessly, fearlessly, triple time and overtime.
That's right. That's right.
Bring 10,000 black men from here, from the hood, from right here at our base in Southeast,
Yes.
and show them that we can take 10,000 black men and raise them up strong and confront again white racism, white supremacy coming from Donald Trump. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
It's all right if we see
Yes,
Trump.
sir. Yes,
Is
sir.
that all right? We want to deal with him at his doorstep. We want to deal with him at his doorstep. We see all of our brothers who are athletes now taking a stand and taking a kneel in different places.
Right.
We love Brother Colin Kaepernick and the stand that he's taking.
Yeah.
And we're saying that it's everybody now. If they can take a stand, and it's time for all of us to take a stand. And in the spirit of the Million Man March, 22 years ago, we know that when the black man stands, then God is standing. And when you see the black man standing, there's no power anywhere on the 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth that can deal with the power of this man who is a sleeping giant, but who is now the object of destruction in America. Give me a moment here, because everybody's got to share, and some of our sisters here are going to come share. Give us a minute, Mr. Reporter. What we're saying here is that the black men's movement, what is that? I'm Black Lawyers for Justice. We have others here, but we are brothers.
Right, sir.
We're saying that regardless to religion, regardless to where we're from, regardless to class, demographics, regardless to everything, that we are one. The same dog that bites you bites us too. The same dog that bites you bites us too. We are calling for right here in Washington, D.C., calling for right here, as we open up this call for our convention and our march.
Right, sir.
It's a convention, not just a march. We have to have a convention that deals with the health. We're going to have a convention that deals with the health of black men.
Right.
We're going to have a convention that deals with jobs and employment for black men. What am I saying, jobs and employment? You see cranes floating around all over this town, right?
That's right.
You see development going on all over this town. Is the black man and the black male, is our community benefiting from it?
No, sir.
Are they?
No, sir.
Billions of dollars are coming into this city at this point in time, and that somebody has to take a stand to make sure that that money is not going to support gentrification.
Right.
But that money is going to support us. Billions are coming in. But right now, these billions of dollars are going. Come on down, brother. You look so sharp. Come on down. Let's make way. Make way. Let's give him a seat. Sister Amy, quick, fast. Give him a seat right here.
There's
Please.
one more chair. Should be a chair.
Give Brother Moten a seat also.
Move over one. Move over one, sir. Move over one.
What am I saying here? Just in a word.
Spend your chair.
What am I saying here? Can I give you a quick word? Just hold this stand right here, brother. We get you a seat in 1 second. Give him that seat. What am I saying? What am I saying? We're saying with the 10,000 Black Men's March that not another dime should be spent in this city unless we approve it.
Right, sir.
Not another dime. Not these billions of dollars in construction money and all of these funds that are coming into this city and other cities to help move us out. We're saying that if the money is not going to help our people and to help our men, then nothing else is going to be built inside of the city of Washington, D.C. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm saying that we'll have to shut it down.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Okay, so again, the murder rate. We can't keep hollering about the police department. The murder rate and the ultimate solution of it is on who?
Us. On us.
They're going after black men and black boys and rites of passage for black men and black boys. Whose responsibility does that rest on?
Us.
Can we depend on the police department?
No, sir.
We have to depend on ourselves.
That's right.
Economics here. We'll hear from some of our experts or our persons in just a few moments. But in terms of economics, once again, if we're not getting a piece of it in this city, it's not going to happen. And we're saying that, and we're going to reach a crescendo. That we've researched all of the budgets that are being laid out in these cities and in the budgets for the District of Columbia.
Right.
The money's going in the subways. The money's is going into developments that are not for us. But where is the money for the improvement of the lives, the career, the families, and the health that our people need and that the black man needs to get on his feet?
That's right.
We must take a stand. If the money is not being spent in the way that we say it should be spent and where we want it to be spent, then 10,000 black men are going to have to make a difference in that situation. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right.
Protection of our women and our girls. Pedophilia is a problem.
Yes, sir.
Child abuse is a problem in the black community. We cannot depend on the police departments and the Metropolitan Police Department to solve our issues, but they have not solved those issues. The Metropolitan Police Department can't find many or most all of the missing girls here, let alone help us with the problems inside our nation. 10,000 Black Men's March, the National Black Men Convention, very serious, building a coalition and a strong force in this community where pedophilia and the abuse of our children and the abuse of our women will be wiped out.
Yes, sir.
And we will be known, brothers, for something else other than destruction, but we're going to be known for our construction and what we're doing in this community. Now, I want to be clear, we're not waiting around for a magic date in April. Not waiting for a magic date where 10,000 men will appear. We're recruiting 10,000 right now in 30 states. We're driving 10,000 men on the roads, and we need 2,000 right here in Washington, D.C. right now. 2,000 black men that are committed to unity, committed to economic development, committing to security in the community, committed. Following up on those goals of October 16, 1995, and meeting the threat of Donald Trump, meeting the threat of white racism and white supremacy in the community. So I'll open that up. I just say that these are some of what we want, and we'll go further. I want to say again that my name is Malik Zulu Shabazz. I'm an attorney. I'm a lifetime organizer in this community, and we have called again the 10,000 Black Men's March right outside here on the 21st of April and the next day on the 22nd. On the 21st, we're going to gather with the youth. We're going to gather with plenty of music. The go-go groups and the others from across the city are going to be with us that weekend. All week, national leaders and teachers and educators are going to be coming through all week. But when we hit our crescendo on Saturday, 10,000 strong with all of our artists and entertainers and rappers who are coming, we will rally for a while and then we are going. Thank you, sir. And we'll rally for a while and then we're going to make our move down to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We want to build such momentum. We want to build so much momentum. We don't want just 10,000. We want 100,000. We're not going to allow this no good bastard, the President of the United States, who is a disgrace to his office. Not only is he a disgrace for us, he's a disgrace for anybody that is civilized on the planet. It's time the black man stop playing around with him and pussyfooting with him and get serious from him, because Donald Trump must be driven from office.
That's right. That's right.
Where's the one with his face on it? Give me the other one with his face on it, please. Here it is. Anyway, I'll hold this. Give me the big one here. Will we allow Donald Trump to call the black mothers in our community bitches and we sit by silently?
No, sir.
Thank you,
Sir.
There's so much more I want to say, but let me pave the way for others. We'll take some questions in a moment. Thank you, members of the press, for here, but let me hear y'all, because, again, this is a collective effort. This is an effort, and every man who's listening, this is a collective effort. This is something that I'm just trying to help push along.
Yes,
So with that being stated, let me bring on here first. No, let me get some endorsements here first. Brother Hakeem Ami, come on, from Baltimore, Maryland. Speak your piece and let's move the line up, and then we'll take some questions. Let's give it a
All right. Well, I'll sit down. I prepared a statement here.
Yes, sir.
My name is Brother Hakeem Ami out of Baltimore, Maryland. And I wanted to speak and mention about the 10,000 Man March. 22 years ago, we came, over 2.2 million came to Washington, D.C. Why did we come? And why do we come now? We come because America has an American dilemma. There was a Swedish Nobel laureate economist who detailed what he said was the obstacles to the Negro problem. He called it, because that's what they called us at one time, Negroes, the American dilemma. And it spoke about why black people didn't have full participation in America. In 1992, Andrew Hacker wrote a book, Black, White, Separate, Hostile, and Unequal.
And unequal.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And it was a
Separate
profound,
and unequal.
separate, unequal, right?
Yes, sir.
It was a profound analysis of what keeps blacks and whites dangerously unequal on us in this society. Why do we march? We want 10,000
Yes, sir.
black men to be front and center for our intellectual warfare that we must have. Steve Biko
Yes, sir.
made
Yeah.
the statement that the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So we have to deal with the reality of how our minds have been controlled and free our minds from that. And so we're marching to the White House, right?
Yes, sir.
Because we have someone who's worse than a Weinstein.
Right.
But he wasn't asked to step down. Huh? So America is hypocrisy, hypocritical in terms of the moral obligations that it should have. And it's destroying us, but I believe that we have power here. We have moral authority that we can stand on. And if we understand our culture and our history, we can gain power here in America. And so I'll just end with that. And again, I thank you all for coming out. It's been a beautiful time working with this great leader, Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz. He's been on the front line for years, and I support everything. And I know there's some. Let's give it up. I know some have said that they don't want to do certain types of march, but we gotta let them know we're not dead, right? We gotta let them know that we see what you're doing. If nobody else see what you're doing, we see what you're doing. And so we're here. We're gonna stand up. We're gonna continue to be men. I have a book with me called A Sapo, A Warrior's Guide to Manhood, because I want to train not just men. A Sapo, look it up. Warrior's Guide to Manhood, because we need warriors in our community. Don't let the smooth face fool you, right? So that's what we need, brothers and sisters. So thank you, brother.
Thank you, dear brother Hakeem. Baltimore, Maryland. Strong round of applause. Coming on his journey to support the 10,000 black men march. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Praise be to Allah. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Praises be to Allah, the guardian, the evolver, the cherisher, and the sustainer of all of the worlds, the creator of all of the universe. I bear witness none deserve the rights of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness to all of those prophets who were raised from Adam until Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and those raised from Muhammad until this very hour. We thank a bold, bald-headed black man, the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, for raising so many cubs in the midst of all of the black revolution. A strong black revolutionary in his own right. Raise your fist and say black power. Black power. On your heart. Black power. Black power. On your heart. Black power. Black power. On your heart. Black power. Black power. In the name of Allah, the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad came and he trained a bold soldier in attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, and in our current chairman Hashim Akhenaten Nzinga. I am the National Minister of Justice for the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. And we emphasize self-defense because we are under attack at home and abroad, and we must fight for our freedom, as did the Honorable Dr. Frederick Douglass, as did again the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as did the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, as did the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as did Huey P. Newton, as did the Honorable Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who wrote about they came before Columbus, which they celebrated Columbus, but we celebrate that we were here long before Columbus. Black power? Black power. Black power. And they annihilated and massacred many millions with the smallpox and the blankets. So we know that the gringo was speaking with forked tongue then, and as we bear witness, as we look at Andrew Johnson in the reincarnation form of Donald, I call him Donald the Duck Trump, who ducks black people's issues, foreign domestic policy issues. You know, he's the Duck Trump, the reincarnation of Andrew Johnson is to Abraham Lincoln what Lyndon Baines Johnson was to John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And with that, we're saying black power, and we want to introduce a strong activist, a man in his own right, raising DC from every dimension, every corner. He's organizing and launching stratagems of war against those who will bring gentrification to black men, women, and children. We want to give a round of applause for our beloved brother Ahmed Assalam, straight out of Southwest, rolling for DC. Black power, black power, black power, and a strong black revolution. Praise to Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings of peace and blackness in all languages and forms of expression, and free from any schisms and isms to all civilized people. I come before you today in support of the Black Men's Movement, the 10,000 Black Men's March, and the National Black Men's Convention, where my particular focus will be on community organizing to solve our problems. My interest starts here in Washington, D.C. and goes across the nation, where politicians continue to sell our community short. And the pilgrim yuppies and the millennials turn our $50 neighborhoods into their own overinflated housing paradise. While black people face the agenda of a racist White House and Capitol, our social service organizations are stuck on giving us handouts and cosmetic programs.
Jeez.
I believe that today black people need organizations like the Black Men's Movement that focuses on the more pressing issues of where are we going to live in the America of tomorrow.
Good question.
And if we call ourselves taking action against racism, then we better realize that gentrification and forced amalgamation in the form of a national statewide policy towards mixed or so-called racially diverse communities is outright racist. That is why I'm honored to announce that in solidarity with Attorney Shabazz and the Black Men's Movement, I will be taking on a leadership role in the opening on November the 1st and operation of a national office to combat gentrification. I call it an anti-gentrification. It will be located a few blocks away in the old United Black Fund building. Let me say from the beginning that this is a race-first initiative by blacks for blacks. And it will not be a place for a philosophical discussion.
All right.
This will be a place where black men, women, and youth will come together for learning, organizing, strategizing, and above all for working together as homeowners and tenants, taking real action to preserve and protect the integrity of our community.
Yes, sir.
Great teacher.
So on behalf of the black community of Washington, D.C. and across the nation, I say, we are not moving. Impoverished, jobless, homeless, where do they expect us to go? It's not too late for us to take a stand.
Right.
We can't just keep getting pushed around.
That's right.
Good.
That's right.
Good science, but just briefly. Ain't no hands up. Ain't no hands up. It's fight back. What you think? We just gonna keep getting whacked or keep on suffering from your brutal attacks while listening to the sound of your gat to remind us of the sound when your whip cracked? Truth be told, we've been hacked, and for 400 years we've been jacked. Almost forgot we were a hostage because we've been mapped by integration and reverse discrimination, your racist legislation and acts, and by all your lies we thought were facts. Now the third quarter is ended and we have yet to be sacked. We may be down by 400, but in the fourth we're coming back. With mind and body and spirit intact. No longer just playing defense, but also going on the attack. Our hands are down on the turf because we're taking it to the rack. Oh yes, we are coming. And our front line is strapped. I'll be damned if we surrender. And you can count on that.
The chair of the Black Power movement, a beloved sister who has fought for justice in Texas and fought for justice in Philadelphia, in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. And we want to bring our beloved doctor, we call it the long extended arm of the law in truth and justice, our beloved sister, chairman or chairperson again of the Black Power movement, Dr. Amy Jeter. Give her a round of applause. Black Power! Black Power!
I just want to tell you guys that y'all really got me pumped up today. I'm pumped up about this march. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 18th through the 22nd, I mean. We are ready. Let me tell you why women are so important for this march. I am in total support of strong black men. That's right. Right now, we're under attack as women. Our families are being destroyed. Our brothers are in the prison system. We got to do something. I want our brothers to stand up to the challenge. I need you to come out on the 18th, 19th, 21, 22 I need you to be at this convention. I need you to be at this convention not for yourself, but for every last woman that you deserve to be there for. The reality of this thing is that we're losing our black men. And the reality of it is that we need you. We need you to stand in a position. If you don't stand for anything else, we need you to stand up for us. Because the reality of this thing is that we women, as black women, we can't do it alone. You see, when the universe was created, it was created with Adam and Eve. It was Adam and Eve for a reason, because we needed our brothers. And even if you believe in LGBT community, you still have a father. You still got a brother. You still got a son. You still got a nephew. I want you to come out for every man in which you're supposed to stand up for. So I'm calling on every last woman, on every last female, because even though this is a march about men, it's also a march about us. Because if it wasn't for men, we would have no protection. And what I'm asking for is that every man stand up on his feet. And I'm calling, I'm asking, I'm challenging you. And I'm saying you better get up off your feet on April 18th, 19th, 21, 22. You better be there. You better be there for every young child, every young girl. You stand up against every pedophile in our community. Black power? Black power. This is a serious thing. I'm asking, I'm calling every woman to act like Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was a strong woman, and what she did, she rescued many. And I'm asking all of our sisters in our community, every African, every black sister, to stand up like Harriet Tubman and join your brother. Bring them on out to this march. Bring them on out to this national convention. And if they decide to pull back, you say, I'll bust this trigger if you don't come. Just like Harriet Tubman. Because we are pillars of our community. And they strong black women to stand up for black men. Black power? Stand up for this march. Stand up for this black men's convention, because it's going down.
That's right. We want to introduce you, beloved brother and sister, to our beloved sister who has worked so hard in the whole idea of black nationalism, worked for the Nation of Islam, has her own radio program, worked for the Community Action Network, and we want to bring on our beloved sister who's fought with us many times on many fronts and named Mr. Minute since she's been in it. We want to bring forward our beloved sister, Nia 2X. Black power. Black power. Doors of black revolution. Black power. Black power.
Thank you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. My brief comments are only to echo and support the reality that we're seeing and hearing right now. This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not for show. This is not for my selfie. This is the real deal. This is the answer to many of the problems that we cry about, talk about, complain about. We want to answer. Now we have black men that are willing to stand up on their own 2 feet as black men, as the kings, the stewards of this planet. And they, as our sister just said, need and deserve the support, not only from other brothers, but as well from the sisters, to come and support the black man when he stands strong like he's standing now. It's not a time for the cowards. It's not a time for the pretenders. You're sitting in here just to get information, and your voice is telling you inside of your mind right now, I ain't, you doubting and you faking and you shaking, or either you the enemy in disguise. The enemy could be in here right now, getting ready to go back and tell your fallen general, who is the Caucasian, because he's fallen. If you can't really see that he's fallen when black men are talking like this in 2017, he is fallen. Because it's time for the black man to stand up. And we have leaders, followers, leaders that are willing to do it. But what about you? What about the doubters? What about you waiting on the white man to tell you if he can do it? What about you selfish ones? I don't want to lose mine. I don't want to lose mine. Well, what about the black mother and father that has lost their son? The prison industrial complex. They are serious. Now we have black men that are serious, and they're not up to par for you and I. We still have a complaint. We still have doubts. Or you afraid of black power. You really might be afraid of black power. You haven't seen black power until that day You just see the startup of Black Power.
Right.
Black power.
This is not a movement to say we're going to be violent, but we're ready if it comes down.
Jeez.
This is a movement of black men that are taking a rightful stand. This is a movement led by God.
Amen.
Who else do you think is in charge?
All right.
You feel the power and the spirit of God that has made us. He's sick and tired of black people crying and praying to him, and then he wants to give us an answer. Here it is. Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Stand up and be black. Whether you're white, brown, dark, don't make no difference. It comes from the spirit. Be there, as our sister Queen Amy just said. Be there, show up, and be a part of the number that God is going to be holding you accountable for. Make no excuses about it. Be there and scare the white off the white man just because you there.
That's right.
Black power.
Our beloved, give me a direction. Stronger round of applause. Sister Lewis, give me a direction. Black power. Action. Action. Network. What do you do our beloved brother who labored hard to get here and labored to do the work that was necessary after the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, under the most honorable Silas Muhammad, a doctor, a man of the UN. He'll give you a whole idea, a broader projection of where black nationalism needs to go in this hour after Malcolm X and after the passing of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and many other leaders, including Marcus Messiah Garvey. I want to introduce to you our beloved brother Hassan Islam, coming from the Lost Foundation of Islam. He's standing, by the way, Hassan Islam, give him a round of applause. What he's been doing around the country and going around the world for black revolution. All of his brothers, including Brother Ramsu and all of his network. Assalamu alaikum and black power.
I really hadn't planned to speak. This is kind of caught me off guard. It's very beautiful to see all of you guys here. It is very important that we do start to mobilize, we do start to come together, and start to think as one with our mindset and dealing with the Caucasian, have understanding that he is the devil. Elijah Muhammad did not lie to us. He did not tell us any lies.
That's right.
Everything that's been given to us is 1,000% true. And the only true way to move forward in the future is to follow the teaching of the Honorable Silas Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, and Louis Farrakhan. I'm sorry to say this, but these are one of the three leaders. Those three leaders there are the ones that have given us the ground, the foundation. And because of many of us and our race have went the other way, we are at this point now where we are having to try to go out again and get our people together. As we are not refusing. A lot of refusal is being pushed forward to the truth. Again, like I said, I really didn't have planned to speak, but I wouldn't have wrote something up.
So much, brother.
Again,
So right.
it's so beautiful to see you guys here. This brother means the world to me. I'm here for him, to support him.
That's right.
He is a role model. I look up to him very, very much. I plan on following his footsteps for a very long time. Again, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Give Brother Hassan Islam. As we introduce our attorney, Malik Zulu Shabazz, I want to stand in recognition of the sharpshooters, Brother Chris Ross. Stand, give him a round of applause. Support him. Brother Doshar from Ross. Stand in the media. Give that thing, stand and give your name.
Hold on. Let him.
Go ahead and give it.
All right, so,
It's a sharpshooter.
and then we're going to open up, we're going to have a little dialogue here, and then we'll be through with this session. And part of this session is now that the major press is left, is where we're going to talk with each other as organizers and as men so we can see how we want this thing to go. It ain't all the way wrapped up, right? We just opening it up.
That's right.
Now we talk as a family. I believe that it looked like it's all family here. Yes?
It's all family.
All right, so like all family, we get out in the business. Now this is the business right here of defense and protection. I bring you greetings from Brother James McCoy of the Urban Sharpshooters. The Urban Sharpshooters is the fastest growing legal self-defense group amongst blacks, or what's called African Americans. They are training all over America, and I'm working with them to help challenge the gun laws. Right? To challenge the gun laws around America. And so we believe in self-defense. We believe in physical training. That's what a lot of this is going to be about. This, don't let them get to you. He may hear a lot about Trump. This is going to be about us.
Right.
It's going to, a whole lot of this is going to be about us. And so, self-defense, physical fitness training. Let me let you hear a word from Urban Sharpshooters. Let's give them a round of applause.
I'm the chapter president of Fort Washington of the Urban Sharpshooters. We are a nationwide, national, actually international network. You know, we have our primary objective is firearms training and education. We have people from every level of firearms that you can imagine, you know, and about protection of our women. That's one of the number one things on our list, one
Yes,
of our
sir.
priorities. Like I said, physical fitness, mentoring of black boys. So I mean, there's many of these things where we align in our objectives. We got people working every day, and we're growing. Like you said, we're the fastest growing gun club. We're united with all the other black gun clubs across the country, whether it be the youth gun club, or Taj, you know, Black Guns Matter. And many others. Forgive me for the ones that I forget, but we all in solidarity and we build.
Fort Washington. What's your name, bro? You looking all strong and sharp. Huh? Lumumba. What's your group?
I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I came to visit you.
You from Australia? You back several times. You good?
Brother,
Thank you so much. Lumumba from Australia. Let's give him a black hand. Let us hear what's going on with the black man and our people. Our struggle in Australia. Have a seat and talk strong to them.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm moved by everyone in this room. As you know, we're a global people. And a little bit about me, I was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to a Brazilian mother and a Congolese father. My father was an asylum seeker who then got his refugee status in Brazil, and we moved to Australia. So I moved there when I was 2 years of age, in a country that had just come out of what we call the White Australia policy, which is an immigration restriction act which prevented non-white immigration into Australia. So I'm part of the first generation of so-called African Australians to have been socialized in this stronghold of white supremacy on the continent of Australia. A little bit about Australia in terms of what's happening there. The indigenous people, or First Nations people of Australia, who consider themselves black, they the only people, indigenous people, who were colonized by the Commonwealth to not have a treaty signed. So their sovereignty is being completely not disqualified, but it's being
Nullified?
It's being nullified. They're the oldest continuing culture on this planet, 75,000 years of culture on the planet, and they are the most incarcerated people on this planet per capita, highest rates of youth suicide on this planet as a people. So that gives you a bit of a background, and our people there, people of African descent who are new immigrants into the country, our youth there are facing the highest rates of incarceration, juvenile detention. So our people of African descent in Australia, 0.3% of the population. We have 33% of the jails, youth jails, are being filled with people of African descent. The reason why I'm here, though, is because not only someone who's representing what's happening in Australia, but I'm someone of Congolese descent. Now, the reason why I come here is because I understand that the epicenter of the so-called white supremacy, which is really an inferiority complex,
Yes.
and a white fragility, the epicenter of white supremacy, the system of white supremacy, is right in the heart of the continent of Africa, Congo. Now, we know the Congo is a place where if we wouldn't be here today with all of our electronic devices, if it wasn't for the coltan of the Congo, if it wasn't for the cobalt of the Congo, if it wasn't for the copper of the Congo. Now, for me, I'm here. I'm traveling the world. I've just retired from professional football. 12 years in Australia. I was the first person of Brazilian or descent or African descent, Congolese descent to play the sport. I played for 12 years. I stood up and I spoke similar to Colin Kaepernick. I was ostracized publicly, but with no support whatsoever. We don't have institutions in Australia. I didn't have any elders. But there was a calling inside of me. I could feel the spirit of Patrice Lumumba inside of me, which is my namesake. So I'm here today because I'm traveling the globe. I'm dedicating my life for people to understand the significance, the strategical significance that the Democratic Republic of Congo has for our people. If we can have stability in the Democratic Republic of Congo, then you will see that that is the heart of Africa. You will see that there will be stability throughout the whole diaspora. If we look at our people as a body, we are one people, we're a global people. We see ourselves as a body, then the Congo represents the heart. Now, if we look at our people, we are injured. We have been injured by colonization and the enslavement of our people for centuries. Now, if we are an injured people, and we see ourselves as a people who are in an emergency ward, which we are in need of urgent attention, then the people who are in the most critical condition are the people in the heart of Africa, the people of the Congo. The Congo, I'll say, is the most resource-rich land on this planet. $23 trillion worth of minerals underneath the earth that is currently being exploited and excavated by the Chinese, by the Lebanese, by the Canadians, by the people here in this country.
Right.
We need to not only act locally, which I can see we're all thinking here, but we need to think globally as well.
Right, sir.
And so I'm here to represent the people of not only our people in Australia or Brazil, but also our people in the Congo, and say, don't forget the strategical significance that the people of the Congo and that landmass has for us.
Yes.
What is your name? All right, we'll open up now for some dialogue here, and I want to pick up on that, and I thank him for coming. We talking about the condition of black men here, talking about the condition of our people, right, and what role black men would play, and we must understand that we're Pan-Africanists. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Right.
We all are part really of a worldwide Pan-African movement.
Yes.
All right.
That's right.
We're not just focused here on Washington, D.C., is that right?
Right.
And so I want to say here as we open up, take questions, not only questions, but give input. It's a time when we can talk black to each other. We got some serious organizers in here, and we can have us a discussion. But I want to say that black men and presenters from all over the world are going to be invited here. They're going to come here. Brother, you're going to teach here at this convention. You have to be a part of this. And this is absolutely that Pan-Africanism and the struggle of our people and our men is worldwide. We're a worldwide power.
Right.
Now, with that being stated, let's talk to each other. Because what I want to say is that I appreciate y'all supporting the strong spirit here. And let's get into the details. Let me reiterate a few details and y'all talk to us. Because the convention at this point is like a cake that we have not finished baking. We have not called and have something already wrapped up and asked you to buy into it. Right. You know who we are, that we're freedom fighters. You know our intentions.
Right.
Now we want to talk as a family to see what your ideas are, see what our economic ideas are, because we're on what? We're on a listening tour. Right. I'm on a listening tour. I'm here to listen to other geniuses and smart minds in our community so that collectively we come about something that we've never come about before, which is a strong, organized movement of black men and black people that are moving forward in the collective sense not just what Attorney Shabazz says. I got my ideas, you'll hear some of them, but I've intentionally left this thing wide open so we can talk and build and work this thing together. Now, on the 18th, that's a Wednesday, the convention is scheduled to start. There's a motion on the floor that it start earlier. It might, depending on who we have coming. Dr. Cornel West, who was here a few weeks ago, he is going to be with us front and center to help us out. There are many from across the country who are coming. We have decided to incorporate music and art heavy into this, so that it's not just all speaking, but that we respect the arts, we respect the music. And so Familiar Faces and other of the top groups that are right here in Washington, D.C., on the 21st, Saturday, there's going to be a huge stage set up. Huge stage. Let me start here though. On the 18th, the 19th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all of those evenings are going to be dedicated to our major scholars and presenters coming here. In the daytime in those days, and I believe that we're likely to be over here at Union Temple or some of these other facilities here. We're going to confirm it. In the daytime of the convention, such as the times right now, we're going to offer things such as credit counseling. We're going to offer things such as career counseling, career development, resume writing. We're going to offer things such as counseling, therapy, individual counseling, family counseling. We're going to provide links so that we come out of this situation of embarrassment where we're embarrassed to talk to anybody about our issues with our homes and our children. We're going to have private counseling there on a mental health level. We're going to have job counseling and career counseling. We are going to provide plenty of services. Non-profits who we're talking to in this city and other areas, other non-profits. They're not out here saying that they're black nationalists, Pan-Africanists, but guess what? Right now, as we speak, somebody's taking somebody's son to the doctor. Somebody's taking care of somebody's son who was a foster child and has been adopted. Somebody's taking care of some child and family services and some young men and some adolescents that are out here looking for a better way. What am I saying? We got to respect those that are working in the community every day, that are serving our people, nursing our people, counseling our people, and doing that kind of work so that our marches and our conventions, we get some practical results. In the daytime, my dear brothers from Urban Sharpshooters, and throughout this, of course, there's going to be a major part of this that's going to be dedicated to self-defense. There may be some major trainings at different places that I won't say right now, but we have to get these men in and give them some kinds of training. And then there will be on a consistent basis through the whole convention. Brothers must be advised of their gun rights, their Second Amendment rights. They must be said, if you want to sign up with the Urban Sharpshooters, if you want to sign up with the new Black Panther Party, then you can come here and sign up here so we can go further in this area of self-defense. So we got 3 nights of major lectures. We got 3 days where services and help for our people come throughout the day. I'm leaving it open so y'all can add into it. Then we get to the weekend where we come out here on the big chair, right here in Southeast DC. Well, why the big chair? Why we ain't at the Lincoln Memorial? Why we ain't, well, number one, we ain't know if we can fill no big Lincoln Memorial. We don't know if we can be down there on no big, huge mall. But we do know that this is our mall.
That's
right.
It's our hood.
That's right.
And I want to say this. Washington, D.C., Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C. has really never had its time to shine. All these marches and demonstrations have come to Washington, D.C., but where is it that Anacostia, where is it that Southeast ever had its chance to stand up and represent out front? And that's why we have chosen this location. Because we understand the battle is fought in the hood, it's going to be fought in the hood, right? And I'm talking with Brother Jahar here. Let's give the owner of this restaurant a hand. He's hanging in here. He's been done. This is a gentrified building here. gentrified attack going on in this area.
That's right.
Okay, but now, you know, I had going to the White House on my agenda, but I really wasn't pushing it too hard because I said, you know, they're going to say, here comes Shabazz with his radicalism, his adjectivism and all of this coming with me. So I said, I'll just be cool and hear what they say. Well, so it was Brother Jahar and others who told me, they said, well, we need to take it right to Trump's doorstep.
That's right.
They say, forget all of this talking and rapping from a distance and tweeting from a distance. They say, take it to his doorstep.
That's right.
So on the Saturday of the 21st, yeah, we're going to open up here early. We're going to have music here early. We're asking all the men to gather as early as 9 o'clock.
Right.
We're asking all the mothers in the family to bring their sons out as early as 9 o'clock. Let me be clear, it's a family affair. Can I be clear?
Yes,
It's about the black men and our sons that'll be out front to focus, but it's a family affair.
Yes, sir.
The whole family is going to be invited. We want strong sisters who support black men and our mothers, our family. We want them to be there on the weekend to celebrate the success of the black man.
Come on.
This is about black men, but it's about the whole community investing in the future of black men. So also, of course, at this convention, you heard some fiery sisters here today. If you think we're going to leave them out, the brothers from hearing them at the convention is not true. So the black man is the goal. He's the focus. He's on Front Street. But I got to be honest, out here on 12th and W, out here at the big chair, it's a family affair. Now, we may leave there. I'm sure we'll leave there maybe around early on Saturday. Maybe 1 or 2. We'll rally here, then we're going to go 10,000 strong or more. We got 6 months, and we got all kind of time to recruit. Dig in on this devil downtown.
Right.
I mean, at the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So we take out and we go strong down there, and we'll end up at Lafayette Park, right on his doorstep.
Right.
All of that's going to be extra strong. All of that's going national and on the news and all of that stuff, and agitation and in the street, and we showing that we strong. And we haven't really gotten all the way into what's going to happen when we get down there. And I don't want to get all into what's going to happen, but I want you to trust me to come with me.
Yes, sir.
Now the next day, what we've done is said we'll be back here the next day for the march outside. But this time we're not leaving. I can't use all my time on Donald Trump,
That's
Right.
That's
who
right.
is an unreformable, irredeemable devil.
Right.
But we are hoping, it seems if you can calculate his presidency and where he's headed, which seems to be to hell on a rocket ship, if we can calculate where he's going and calculate where we're going to be at that time, he should be in serious trouble at that time.
Right.
Good strategy.
Even if his own right-hand man, Mr. Bannon says that he won't last 30 months. Bannon gave him 30 months. That's his inside right-hand man. So what am I saying? By the time we get to April, Trump is probably he'll be in worse trouble. He'll be more outrageous. And then we'll be right on time.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
The next day, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
We're going to amass our crowd and our march here, and we're not going anywhere because we have to focus on our people. Get our message out.
Okay.
The whole weekend, we're going to have booths out here. They're going to be booths outside that, again, deal with economics, Brother Haki. Economic opportunities, job opportunities, career development, counseling, high blood pressure testing, prostate cancer testing. Talk to me. What do we need? Talk to me. Talk to me.
I want to deal with pedophiles because we're doing something like that in the Greater DC chapter of NAME. We're going all over the country. We headed down to Newport News November 4th for our next Hands Off Our Children, Stop Sex Trafficking program.
Oh, yeah.
Hands
Is it
off
still
our
working?
children.
Is it gone? Let me see it. It might have ran out. Let me see the
Yeah, all of it. Stop the abuse of all, like somebody said, organ trafficking, taking the organs out of our people. You know, this thing is real. Dick Gregory gone. He was telling us all the time. So I want to, I would like to see, huh?
You knocked me off Facebook. It's all right.
They did. Black too strong.
They do
You
that a
better
lot.
knock me off and knock me off for some time, but it's all right.
Black too strong.
Go ahead, though. We want to get these, now let's get these
What
ideas
do I
here. hear y'all talking.
What do I do to be in one of those booths to help out with this issue of hands off our children, stop sex trafficking? The National Action Network, founded by Reverend Sharpton, is in 100% with that part of the program.
Okay, so
Humble.
dang, they took this down.
Stand by.
They took the
Stand by.
It should be on
They
April.
took it down, but I don't understand why they told out why they took it down. Was something said?
You ain't hear that?
Stand by.
Man, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm blocked for 30 days. I'm blocked for 30 days. Just blocked, but nothing that was said. Could you tell me something that was?
Everything.
Anyway, the enemy tuned in on it. We'll get it in another way. We'll have to get it in another
You
way.
just
Huh?
scared us. This is effective. This is real.
All right, I'm still live. I've been banned and blocked from Facebook for
But it's
30
still
days
live?
for holding this news conference.
It's still live though? It's still available live?
He's going.
Okay.
Man, they have taken it down, Doc. But we got it. I hope they embedded it on the website. Check with Mintu. See if he captured it. And Skadisha's got it. And you got this right here, right? All right, so we're blocked and we're banned, but it's okay. They know. They think they know where to hit us at. Stay tuned. But they're not gonna know where to hit us at. All right. So.
What about that? Hands off our
Life-
children,
life
stop
in the
sex
big-
trafficking.
Huh?
Can I have that book, please?
Oh, sure. What I want you to do though is not only can you get that booth, there are others who are passionate about the same subject.
Right?
And so what we want to do, that subject is covered not only in booths, but from the rostrum, might be workshops.
I mean, any
So
way
if that's the issue you're passionate about, let's
Yes,
you and I
sir.
stay in touch.
Yeah, I will.
And let's
Thank you.
build that platform in our movement, but not just for that day.
No, I told you, we've been doing it since April.
Now see, that's what I want to say. This is the purpose of this Black Men movement, right?
To make sure.
You've been doing this since April, right?
Right.
You out here fighting against pedophilia hardly on your own, right?
Well, the National Action Network.
as an organization,
Right.
right? Now what it is that all of the men that we're connecting with and what we're doing now, we help you out right now.
Come on now.
We can get you later, but we don't want you waiting 6 months. We want to say, Sister Nia, this is what you're passionate about. This is what we can offer you. Because we got X amount of groups and men dedicated also. And we start building in that area right now. Talk to me. Tell me
So,
what's on your
Amy,
mind.
Get in contact with you.
Okay, that's fine.
In the box.
Black Power.
Black Power. Thank
Black
you.
Power.
Black Power.
Black Power.
Black Power. Thank you.
I'm going to build me another page and then ban me from another page. That's your page?
You have a question?
In conjunction with that, there needs to be some kind of, I guess, booth or whatever, offered specifically for men who have experienced child sexual abuse. Because
That's it. That's
because
us.
that leads into, for some people,
Oh, you mean the counseling for the men, the grown men,
who
or
have
teenagers?
or who have experienced
It
child
really
sexual
should be under the same umbrella. And then maybe we can point them to a psychologist or something. I'm not a psychologist. You hear what I'm saying, sister?
One thing that
Okay, I'm sorry, my dear Reverend.
Yes.
You said,
I said there should also be an umbrella for men who have experienced child sexual abuse, because some of that leads into pedophilia from my mental health counseling experience.
No, you're right.
I agree with that. And so let's tackle it. What I want to do is tackle it. I want to tackle it at the convention, at the march, and I want us as a movement, with your advice and your good consultation, we can start attacking it more now. I want the Black Men's Movement to be known now, not later. The thing we want to emphasize here is we're not just waiting on a certain day, a certain crowd. We're trying to build this right now. Like, we have allies in different states, and we don't want to make it hard. Like, it's not another organization. Let's put it like this. Not another organization. It's a movement we built. This is a movement we built. And we don't want to wait for some one big day result. What we're doing right now is building this 10,000 right now. We want to know, are there 10,000 black men in America and around the world that agree with what we're trying to do? We believe that there are. Tell us some of your ideas. What's going on? Tell us how you doing, Queen. Pleasure.
question.
Yeah.
You were saying something about Team Familiar being like one of the musical acts. Did you already confer or talk with those guys?
Yes. I can tell you this, that the music element will be here.
Okay.
We're going to set up a big stage out here and a huge sound system, and hopefully the TV screens out here.
Okay.
And the most popular groups in the city will be here.
Okay.
We have taken steps to guarantee that, and we're taking all steps. We're going to take all steps to ensure that, because culture, rhythm, and music is a part of our people.
Right.
So on that Saturday, this big march, that crowd, that music going to be out here pumping for some time.
Right.
And they're going to know that their favorite groups, many of them who are here. One of the brothers, leading artists here, Brother Donnell Floyd. Donnell Floyd is one of the reasons why I'm here. Because when I first started, some 20-some-odd years ago, I was a child almost trying to bring Louis Farrakhan to Howard University. You got that phone loud, the phone got a speaker on it. Louis Farrakhan to Howard University. And Donnell Floyd is with Familiar Faces?
Yes.
He's with Familiar Faces, formerly of Rare Essence.
Right.
When I got stuck trying to bring Minister Louis Farrakhan, I mean stuck, like they took my posters off the trees and said, sir, if you cannot prove that you have what it takes to pay this man this honorarium on this contract you signed, you need to bow out now. I guess the Fruit of Islam was telling me, because if you owe this debt at the end of the event and you can't pay it, there may be other consequences. Okay, so we postponed the event for a few days, and only a few days, but it was Donnell Floyd that God brought to me and gave me a cashier's check for $10,000. And that meeting I went to got me back to bringing Louis Farrakhan to Howard University. And that was my first major victory along the line of a series of victories. So I've spoken with him. He's going to be here. They're going to be here, man. We're going to have the music and the sound. And we're going to have the rappers. And some of them are going to come from other states. And so the music and the message are going to go hand in hand. The music, I would say the music, the message, and the mission. Because the mission is that we're going to get much more serious about this than we ever been.
Right.
Yes. Lumumba?
Got the music, the message. My thing is, being a person of Congolese descent, is the technology. So how do you tie in the consciousness that it wouldn't be made possible if it wasn't for the suffering of our brothers and sisters in the Congo? Is there any room to do that?
Of course, there's got to be plenty of room to do that. You stated that the cobalt, right?
Coltan,
Cobalt,
copper, those are big trees.
that make the cell phones?
Coltan, particularly the coltan with the cell phones, even the militarized weapons.
You know what I asked for that question? I say it's great to explain to people the origin of these devices we're using. Now, what is your recommendation? I mean, I've heard of that. That's an issue. What is the recommendation?
Well, there was legislation passed, I believe, in 2006, Public Law 109456, which was brought in by then Senator Barack Obama, which is in regards to stabilization in the Congo and the U.S.'s foreign policy. But at the moment, unfortunately, the U.S.'s foreign policy is one that doesn't acknowledge any of the instability that is being caused as a direct result of the world's demand for these electronics. So it would be an enforcement of Public Law 109456, and taking that, you're going to take that to the president and saying that we recognize the suffering of our people in the Congo. The Congo is currently at the moment, the President Joseph Kabila, he has stayed over his power. He was supposed to call an election last year. He's clinging on to power, and he's being protected by his cohorts throughout the world because of the instability in the Congo being the reason why these materials can be extracted at such a low price, at the cost of our women in the Congo. The Congo is being identified as a place where there is more rape as a result of tactical war than any other place in the world. Between 1998 to 2003, 6 million people were decimated. 6 million of our people were decimated. I was told that 1 in every 5 so-called African American has Congolese blood.
Okay, so I said this.
Can I piggyback on what he said?
Sure.
They say it's a 1 pound of protein is roughly between $600 to $1 million. And each African person, it takes them 1 week to dig a pound of protein from the dirt. They only pay $10.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Brother. Leave it on there. Leave it on the board. And then I want to hear from you, Brother Haki, on economics. I'm serious, how we can really make this stick. This is what I say to you. Of course, at the convention and the march, there's a place. Not only for just general Pan-Africanism, for what you speak of directly in the comment, of course. But there's some other things I'd like to do with you right away, based on what you're saying to me and what I'm involved in. How long were you here for?
I'll leave on Thursday.
You leave, you coming back anytime soon?
I'll be based in LA after November.
Oh, but you'll still be in America?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some things I need to work with you in terms of other things here. This is a diplomatic situation. This is a political situation. Congo has an embassy here. There's a Congress here. There are bills here. There are laws here. This requires not only some mass movement, but it requires some strategy, some diplomacy, some pressure on the embassies. There's some other things that we can do with other friends that we have. So what I would like to do is make sure that Dr. Jenkins, that we get your number, you and I communicate. I'd like to have you on the Worldwide Pan-African Radio next week, where we're going to have different organizers from around the world. I would like you to amplify what you're saying, amplify your concerns, amplify your knowledge by coming on our Pan-African network and other things that we have. And then I want to speak with you offline about helping immediately to try to bring some better results to what you're saying. Like immediately, I want to. Let's give them a hand. Ms. Pollard?
Along that line, there are several socially conscious churches who have written letters to the Congolese president, and they dedicate a certain number of hours that they turn their phones off, and they say, I'm not going to get a new phone.
We have to consider all options. We have to consider all options, and we have to have all knowledge so we can consider all options. Brother Hakeem, come here, Sister Amy. Help me understand, Brother Hakeem. Stay with me. This is what I want to, and then I'm going to come to you, Brother Hakeem. Great presentation. As we talk about economics, you hear about a march, you hear about our convention. You're going to be one of our lead economic advisors. We know there's going to be an economic section to this. There's going to be economic workshops, economic opportunities. But as one of our advisors, how do you suggest that we get the best results out of what we're trying to do, either in April or going up to them? What advice would you give us as we try to be inclusive in where we're going?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Well, I've been taking good notes here. A lot of good presentations, especially with brother when I talk to you about this. I think I look at a lot of different dynamics, and I'm sitting there strategizing. For instance, understanding the environment of the urban economy, as well as the psychology. Sometimes there's psychological effects of poverty, as well as the economics, the more the denial and policy-related issues. And I sincerely believe, with proper understanding, because again, there's the nation within a nation concept that I understand, and I realize that most people are not going to even conceptualize how we position ourselves, how we maneuver, how we sacrifice for freedom. I think that pushing that, because we have cultural values, I believe sincerely, that keep us impoverished. within this society. And I've looked at some of the biggest things that we spend our money on, and you know, through my presentation, I'm able to show people, like, look, I mean, like for instance, diamonds. Why are Negroes buying diamonds? I mean, you got so-called conscious people walking around buying a blood diamond, talking, you know, thinking that somehow you conscious Kobe Bryant spending $2 million on a diamond. You know how many villages that feed? You know, in Africa. So, you know, and that's why, you know, when we get these so-called professional people out here looking like they successful, and I got a laundry list of inappropriate behavior that does not contribute to our community. And, you know, we're renting spaces, you know, big conferences, and I've gone to a couple, but, you know, we are renters, we are employees. We just maintain the status quo within this society. Honestly, if it was up to me in the bigger picture, first and foremost, I still look at this strategy about the 5 southern states, and someone created this African American homeland. But the conversation must eventually begin to speak about repatriation. So that's kind of where, you know, I touch upon these different things, but I'm not believing that everybody's going to get up and go. But first, we got to deal with certain urban survival, like the Panthers talked about, survival strategies in terms of how we manage first ourselves. You know, sometimes, you know, our inferiority complexes, you know, the self-hate. And there was a brother who had that book just last week, a couple weeks ago, on self-hate. And he laid some things out, because I said, we spend billions of dollars just because of self-hatred. So, yeah, I'll just open with that. Go ahead.
My question is basically, from an economic standpoint, how can we be more about the black nation in regards to our economics for the, I'm talking about specifically just for the March. So through the 18th through the 22nd, what would you recommend that we could establish in order to make it more of a kind of a only buy black day? Or what would you think would be the most economically powerful for our community that we could do between the 18th and 22nd that everyone can participate in? Because what I feel is that people want results. And they want to make sure that this march not only talks about how to do things, but that we're making a significant impact economically in damaging what has occurred to us, which is us just buying white products.
Let me say this. That's a heck of a question, and I want him to answer. But I do want to say that the way we're going about this is, once again, we haven't come here telling you that this is what exists and you support it. We have come here with the germ of the idea and the basic principle that we are not going to compromise. That's what we come here today with. It's the idea and the thing and the principle that we will not compromise our goals. Now we enter negotiations. What I want to do with not just, of course, we got things that we'll do from the 18th to the 22nd. We don't know what we might do then. It might be blackout, anything. But right now, see, working with a mind like you, and I would like Brother Haki, mainly him and others, that we're going to bring on board, but he has to help because now he has that level of trust and commitment. Everything that we do, he has supported.
Right.
He has traveled across America to be with us.
Exactly.
And he is seriously dedicated in this subject matter. So what are we going to do? We're about to start having a series of meetings. We're about to start talking to the economic people. And we're going to have in the Black Men's Movement, our March and Convention, economic policy.
Right.
Yeah, we might get there and have a boycott, a blackout. We might have all kind of things going, but we want some policy right now. Right. Once again, I'm saying here that, and it's on another level, there's billions of dollars in this city that is going directly to wiping us out. When I say wiping us out, the Ward 8 budget, who we're in right now, the budget that came out for Ward 8 put millions into the subway. And it put $500,000 roughly into social services in the community organizations that are here. What is that telling you? That the money is, we don't need, does anybody have a problem getting subway over here?
No.
The money is going to improve subway access for gentrifiers.
Right.
No money is going here to help teen mothers, suffering people that need an array of social services here. What are we saying also? That these developers is building like skyrocketing around here. What I'm trying to tell you, man, what am I saying to you? It's some billions of dollars up in here that is owed the black man. And if the black man in this city rise up in strength, he's going to command his money back. You got to remember, this is our money. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's ours. The only reason that somebody else has decided how they're going to spend it is because we are not empowered to demand on how to get it. That's just one aspect of it. There are many other aspects that don't involve any of that at all. We're talking about pooling our resources and things that Mr. Hakeem will advise on. But I want to let the brothers and sisters in Washington, D.C. in this area know that this movement is going to command and demand that the finances and the money around here go into those that need it.
Exactly.
Unless y'all got a problem with that.
No,
I don't got a problem with that at all. I mean, Clark Construction, making billions. But what are they doing for black men?
Good question.
What are they doing?
No.
All right. So come on.
Can I add a footnote as we bring this up?
Yeah.
There are only 3 stores in all of Southeast. Just think about that.
Vanessa.
A Giant on Alabama and Sula Parkway. Another Safeway at Alabama and Naylor Road. And there's one more store if you can name it. You can't even name it. There's only 3 major groceries. So if you feed yourself and lead yourself Southeast, Black Power.
There's a market coming up here. There's an effort here that will be reported on soon. We'll have these news conferences monthly or more. Brother Jahar will come tell us. There's a new store that's going to be built in this area, but it's not going to be Safeway or Giant. There's an effort for a store to be built in this area, but it is community owned.
Come on.
But it is not all the way pushed through yet. And we have to be, once we hear about this, these are the things that we got to put our weight behind. We got to put our weight behind what we want done locally, nationally, and internationally. We got to start putting our weight down. You understand? See what I mean? We're going to start pushing our weight around. Brother Hakeem, talk to us. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to add to the sister's question, again, understanding that this is, not just a one-time thing, but again, I think that the education mostly is what's going to, outside of individuals having, different products, to market present. The only thing I believe first is the knowledge that can be shared from, myself as well as whomever else that they can get from that, and that's unquantifiable what, the value of what people are actually getting from coming. So, but I, just got to push on vendors, exhibitors, etc.
We have to let them know that our dollars matter. 18th through the 22nd is a time period. My focus is that I want everyone to know that their black dollar counts. And I think we've lost the premise and understanding how powerful our money, how much our money matters. Okay? And that when they don't have it, it impacts everything. It stops everything. So we as African Americans and how much money we put in and sponsor, we have to call a day of boycott, 18th through the 22nd. I wanted to bring that out of you because I think it's necessary. The reality of it is that don't buy white, buy black. Period. Not only buy black, but start thinking about your own business. Come with your own business ideas. We have to make sure that this is marketable. We have to make sure that we're marketing for ourselves, for the next black man, and for the black nation. Period.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm all for blackouts and boycotts, but I want to be very, very clear and firm if we move into that time that when you come to this convention and this march, who we can buy from is abundantly clear. You know what I mean? Who we buy from, who we support, and I want the black business element here to be strong. So go ahead, Mr. Shaw. Let her finish.
No, I'm good.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, we're hearing ideas. Great idea.
Kalechi, yeah.
No, this is well, appeal, I know
And,
that.
Yeah, Brother Kalechi, he did
Yes.
talk to me about the credit.
Yes.
So I'll
Elections
talk
of
to
Black
him.
Credit Union. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead. Gentrification herself. Stan, give your name and let her ask her question
You
on,
want me to stand up?
economics. And I guess we're talking.
Let her relax. You
That's
don't
right.
make her stand up.
No,
No,
I
she's not.
understand.
What it
But
is.
make your statement.
Let me introduce this. This is sister, and this is good time for you, Mr. Ahmed. This is Sister Dornessa Harris. Dornessa Harris is a black woman that we have met in our efforts to try to get a anti-gentrification movement going on. And she is one of our most consistent persons in the community. She regularly holds forums and meetings instructing people how to beat the property taxes and the unfair taxes and other actions. She's very consistent. Miss Dornessa, this is Mr. Ahmed. Ahmed here and I have known each other for years. Ahmed is like, he's a freedom fighter, for real. He's a very strong-willed, knowledgeable, tenacious freedom fighter. But he suffers from what many of us suffer from in the movement. Loneliness. From not having the backing that we need when we know we're fighting the right cause, but we really don't have any backup. So God brought Ahmed right back to me and back to us. And so Ahmed, in terms of this black men's movement or this march, he is helping us spearhead the anti-gentrification aspect. Meaning that when we leave here, we're about to go check out our office space, which is going to be up the street or down the street. We're going to figure out the office space, and we're setting up our headquarters. We're setting up our headquarters. And with that being stated, I want you to meet Dornessa. She's close to us, Brother Ahmed. What we're talking about is putting all of our resources behind certain generals so that everybody's not trying to do the same thing. Malik Shabazz is not having 40 agenda items. No, I'm smart enough to say these are the generals. And I consult with the general. All our efforts, numbers, are going to go and help here to stop this gentrification problem. To stop this problem. In this area right here, this area right here is slated to be wiped out. Right, this store here, this restaurant here is slated to be taken.
Real talk.
But we believe that if the black men's march and movement, and if this rise in culture rises up from this area, that gentrification will slow down.
Yes, sir.
That the buyers, the big time, out of town, big real estate moguls who don't even live here that own these buildings, that with all of this black coming, all of this power coming, that they may, hey buddy, you know what, it's just not the right time to be over there, you know? It doesn't look like this area is going in our direction. It looks like it's going in another direction.
That's real talk.
Because we haven't stood up in this city
Right.
and dealt with this problem. So with that being said, let me be quiet and let me hear from these two generals. Because they'll tell us which way we need to be going. So go ahead, Brother Ahmed and Dornessa. Tell us, you go first. Ladies first. Tell us where we need to be
I
going.
wanted to comment back on what we were talking about as far as buy black is concerned. I'm an advocate to buy black, but oftentimes what we miss when we promote buy black, we never talk to the merchant or the retailer to tell them they need to provide quality service. I've had so many issues with trying to buy black, with a roof on my house, the plumbing in my house. A friend of mine is renovating her house. They'll get your money, come back when they want to come back, but then you can get a Hispanic and it's done in a day. So when you promote that agenda, which I'm fine with, you have to promote quality service. Does that make sense?
Right, yes.
I got black and white come the same day.
Sure.
No Hispanics.
Sure.
You know she's right.
Sure.
You know I've been sitting here trying to be quiet, but once she said that, I have a black business director, and it supports black quality professional owned businesses. You can't even get in unless you're professional and quality, because she's right. We have problems from both sides of the aisle, from the consumer and from the business owner. We really need to come together to understand each other, because it's bad. I'm just like you. I have a house here in Southeast, and I can't find a black contractor that's going to be worthy of my dollars. because they disrespect me. It's just all kind of stories we can tell. Other services are doing pretty good, but that black contractor, I can't find it. I'm looking for it.
Ma'am,
I got money for it.
I got the solution.
I found the man. There he is right there. He looks like Marvin Gaye. Look just like Marvin Gaye.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. I need your call.
Okay, so let me say something here. And we have Mr. John Cheeks here. John Cheeks is very, let's give him a hand.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We are hoping that Mr. John Cheeks is going to be our congressman in the District of Columbia. He looks like a congressman.
Yes, sir.
And we want him to be our congressman. And he is also exploring right now the referendum process to get some results. Don't make us dark now. Light this thing up.
It's all about the man.
He's all right. He's all right. He's all right. I'll keep the camera off me. You've seen enough of me. Show somebody else.
I've been doing
I
that.
don't want to be seen at all.
We got to hear your voice because of this.
They can hear my voice. I don't want to be seen. That's not being smart with you. Let me say this. And then I want to talk directly about gentrification. The convention, our efforts, and our movement. When it comes to economics, and tune on in, I'm answering your question. When it comes to economics, I suspect that upwards of 20% of this convention, just the effort, the activity, the programming, the speaking, the workshop, 20% or more will be dedicated to the subject of economic empowerment.
Yes, sir.
I just want us to be organized and effective and not rhetorical.
Right.
We don't want a lot of people just saying, we want you to say buy black, support black, but let's be honest, we've been hearing that for years.
Right.
We got to get deeper. I have a man here that had come here, Brother Carvelis.
Yes, sir.
Carvelis is in the Nation of Islam, and he's a close friend of mine.
Right. Yes, sir.
He's a superstar bean pie food salesman.
He's out front,
I don't even
y'all.
want to just say he's a bean pie. He's a superstar food distributor in the black community that has a plant and a factory, and he has shown the capacity to get his product, his pies, into stores all over the city.
Yes, sir.
Many don't know how to
Fort
do that.
Washington, Bowie.
Come here, come down here, brother.
106 stores.
You support everything that we do. Everything we do, right?
Come on, get on the phone. Come on, talk to me. These are the kind of presenters and persons that do this.
Right.
Let's talk. Tell them what you do, sir.
Well, we started this about almost 3 years ago. And we do 22 flavors.
All right.
We have 3 brothers who have come home from prison that work 5 days a week. That's why I got to leave here at 3. They work. The bakery is on Tuxedo Road, and we just accumulated 20 more stores in the Maryland Best Wings. So that puts us at 6 stores. I don't do no interview process. I got to look through the gateway of the soul, another black man's soul, and say, look, brother, come to work. Get this money. We don't do no damn background check. Check the white man's background. We had to kill all of them. And they babies, man. For what they've done to us.
Right.
So I don't do no background check. Come on, get this money. You get paid every day.
Every day.
You leave me, if you don't come back tomorrow, it's all right. I owe you nothing and you don't owe me nothing. But the brothers keep coming because they get paid. So it's a blessing, brother. We're in a lot of stores, the pie man. We're in 106 stores now.
Now, walk by.
Muhammad teaches the black man to think large. So I tell the brothers that work for me, look, brother, the baby don't come out the womb until we get 500 stores. That's when the baby is born. Otherwise, it's in the cycle. It's going through the cycle. 500 stores, the baby is born. You can get a tasty cake from California to South Carolina. You shouldn't even be eating that. Something that could last 25 years on the shelf and you put it in your body. Something's wrong with that, man. A Twinkie lasts 25 years on the shelf. And we eat that. Something's wrong, brother. Thank you, Brother Malik. Yes, sir.
Black power.
Black power. Black power.
know he's going to be in this heavily. We're going to open our headquarters we're going to solidify this headquarters. It'll be open within a couple of weeks. We're going to be having these sessions right here like this. Economic training sessions, distribution sessions, gentrification sessions on different nights, self-defense sessions. We're going to be running these sessions from our headquarters here in Southeast on a regular weekly basis. We're not waiting for a big day in April. We're building this thing right now. Right. Now I want to also say here on the business level, brother, see, there's another young man who's supposed to come here. His name is Greg Harris. He's 26 years old. Right. He's at 39 New York Avenue. I can show you, he's going to come help us. He's making hand over fist money every day out there washing them cars. He makes double the average rate for the average cost per washing that car due to his marketing techniques, his quality of service, and his personality.
All right, man.
There are many, so these are the kind of persons that will be brought to the table. People that are doing this, not that they're just saying this, but they're doing this and training on this. And so, again, and we still listen. We ain't got it all. Hearing what you're saying, hearing what you're saying, hearing what you're saying. But most of all, what we want to do is we just want to be effective. When they say, man, the 10,000 Black Men March economic program, they say, wow, these people got it together. Right. You see who they got presenting? Do you see what they got working? Do you see what you can buy from them right now? Right now. Do you see what they've got plans and what they are saying that they're going to extract and take back from this city and that city and the next city? So I say still it's wide open, and today has been a great conversation. Brother Ahmed, yes, sir. Tell us here, talk to us, what a convention coming, a march coming, men organizing. If you are a general in that area, how would this work in your mindset towards the alleviation of this crisis in gentrification? How would it work if you have command or control of that part of it?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to organize among ourselves, and we're going to start training people within the community, our youth, in the schools, in the community, in our neighborhood, our churches, and all our institutions. And we're recruiting people for advocacy. We know we have to fight inside the system and we have to fight outside the system. So we have to attack it from both strategies. But in fighting from inside the system, what we don't understand is a lot of stuff, first they're using our money. The whole gentrification thing started, the rebirth of the gentrification, because this is about the fourth cycle in the city. From the urban renewal, it can change and change from the 40s, 50s, 60s, came back in the 70s, came back in the 80s, they kept getting smacked back, then they came back with empty wings, okay? And they really started making the move. When Brother Malik did the first, I believe it was the first up at the Masonic Temple, the report card on the city and on Mayor Williams, I spoke then and told everyone that we needed to start making a move on these people and not let them feel comfortable, but everybody sit back and just let things happen, because they were on the radio talking about, announcing it's safe to come back now. So they were advertising because they were lulling us to sleep. But they used our money to take this city. They're continuing to use our money and giving it to themselves. All these houses and everything they're building, we had money in the coffers. We didn't have poverty and homelessness like this in this city. My family has been in this city 125 years, but we've been in this area since I've traced it back to 1830. Okay, I own a house up the street, been in my family for 100 years. I may be the only family left that actually own land and a home that we brought from the Freedmen's land. That's the Freedmen's land that I live in. It's named the International African Mission because it's land for the people. But we have to stand up, we have to understand, and that people say it can't be done, but let me tell you, that for 10 years down in Southwest, on the waterfront, M Street, South Capitol Street, and the waterfront, we fought because it started gentrification and actually urban renewal started in Washington, D.C. in area, it was called Area C. That was Southwest and part of Southeast. And it spread to 23 cities where we are throughout the nation. It's the same cities they're coming back attacking, and they're coming back to our community. Why? Because when white flight came and we took over and we began to grow more in the city and build our communities, then when they want to come back, they see that the prime land is where we live now. It was the land that they didn't care anything about. Constance Greenlee said that this was called the Great Wilderness because it was nothing but forest here. They're tearing down all the trees on all the hills because they like beauty. But what they're doing is they're hurting themselves because this is a hill and it runs right down to the Navy Yard, to the ballpark and the mall. So if there's no trees to catch the water, they're going to flood themselves out. So we know they have no love for nature. It's not in their nature to love nature. And we are part of the earth. So it's in our nature. So these are the things that will come back, but we want to train people. We want to organize people. For 10 years we stopped them. They put it on the record. Brother Zulu came down in Fort Whipple. And we stopped it. And that community is still there. So it can be done if we organize and we train the people, and we have to start going into these meetings and representing, because the law says that every agency in every hearing has to recognize homeowners and tenants associations. You automatically have party status once you request it. We have put out requests for party status to all of them for anything that affects our community. So we have to go in here, we have to start infiltrating these meetings and advocating on behalf of ourselves, and we can block them and hold them up, because like I said, they wrote in the official government records, we didn't get anything done for 10 years while Absalom was in office. And they thought they would insult me, but it was an honor to me to feel that I could block you for 10 years with the help of the community. So all we have to do is stand up together and go in and take what belongs to us. And we're going to have to also, we're going to have to do lawsuits and everything else, because believe me, every dime that they have used was our money.
Right, sir.
And we have to understand the laws and rules, and also we got to watch what they're doing, because I just got on them, had some meetings with the commissioners and a few other people, because the law say the only way they can come in and take your community is if it's slum and black. My neighborhood and all this area has always been pristine, but for 6 months all of a sudden no grass is cut. Somebody's going through the community dumping. They're not sweeping the streets. And the whole neighborhood, and we all homeowners. People been there 50, 60 years on their home. So now they're creating slum and blight. I put the city on notice and said, you're creating slum and blight. And so you can come here and take it. So that they can't come later and say nobody said anything, or that's not what they're doing, because they already been put on notice. These are the type of things that we have to do. We got to go and call them out. We got to demand the services, and the money belongs to us. We paying taxes like everyone else. It's our money, and it was our money before these white people came here.
Right.
So let me say
and
this.
they're building everything for themselves.
All right. I think we get to this point, Vanessa, where we got the right focus. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be focused everywhere. And with your mind, and with Ahmed's mind, and with an office space where we can regularly organize, and plan and map out our strategy, and the whole community get behind it, we can attack in all of them areas. It ain't gonna happen overnight, but we can begin making some strong progress. It's an election year. Nobody's getting past this election year without being accountable to what's happening in terms of black depopulation and gentrification in the city. So I think we're making a good start. Hopefully we have some better results later with our office space. But brother, I'm looking forward to working with you. Looking forward to working with you. He's talking about jamming up meetings and doing places. All of that. We got to be, I want to say we had to be reactive and proactive. Even though they say it's not good to be reactive, I'm gonna say we had to be, in this case, reactive and proactive. Meaning when we hear about something, know about something happening, we're gonna be there to oppose it and stop it. We're gonna be proactive in terms of building the things that we need to build in our community to combat this on the long term. Bottom line to it is Black Men's March, Black Men Convention, everything here, we're firmly against gentrification, not only in Washington, D.C., but everywhere in the country. Come on, we've been waiting patiently.
Oh, well, as far as the, we're talking about the money, so a couple of ideas I had as far as the money, one being flea markets. People could save a lot of money, and you're spending your money with your community right there at the point at flea markets. Buy Black apps. Everyone, we need to make those like household names, whatever the Buy Black app is, or if it's not one, make one. And everyone that has a business, a product, we put them on that. That way everybody internationally in our community can actually spend our money within in our own community. I'm also an electrical professional. That's what I do as a trade, working with your hands. That's very important, like nation building and things of that nature. So like having trade workshops where we got people that can tell you what you need to get on that, any trade,
That's what we want to build here. A cadre of men that are trained and others who are trained in home construction, home improvement, and all of the other specialties that go with that. And then when we go to them people that I told you that are building here, and every time we go out in these streets and see a road being improved, there's no disrespect, but it's not a black face out there. It's somebody else out there. It's Gonzalez out there. It's Lopez out there getting that $22, $25, $28 an hour. And then we are going to build a cadre of contractors, to be straight up, a cadre of contractors. And we are going to go to these developers in this city and say, you must, not may, not will you must deal with our contractors and hire these men or else.
Right, sir.
And we have the or else.
And in addition to that, but we got brothers from all over the world. We can do international trade crowdfunding networks. So making sure the entire network chain. I know the other brother who's got the bean pies, he's got the warehouse and all that other stuff. That's important for, that type of stuff. We can put that together and make it happen.
Yes, sir.
And also we got, construction companies where we building for our own self, and so as far as about the money, that's what I got.
Okay, so what I would say here is that I'm gonna give out a number here for anybody and everybody, but you specifically take my cell. Take this number, 202-875-9623. That's for those that want to be a part of what we're doing. 875-9623 is the text, is the number to text. My dear brother, with you and Brother James McCoy, I want us to sit down and write again soon. We got to talk about some things with urban sharpshooters, but other economic aspects. And I want to make sure that we get in a process where what you saying sticks. What you saying sticks.
Also,
875-9623. 875-9623.
just to be aware, on the blackmensmovement.org page, there's a comment page for people to add their ideas. Or they should be able to add their ideas. If you're thinking of some things that need to be at the march, put it on the comment page.
Or stay with us, right? Or even in here, that's fine.
Right.
But even right here, those that are organizing with us here, my number 202-369-9986. 202-369-9986. Because what I want us to do as we work in these ideas, we're going to work sure and make sure that it sticks, We want to make it stick, ma'am.
All right, you guys know I had some things to add to yours. Now I have some things to add to his.
Sure.
because my program encompasses a lot. One of the things since we're on here, what we need to begin to think about as an African American people is investment. There are so many things that are out there right now that we could be invested in for as little as $25. You said you can take $100 and invest in Bitcoin. Back in April, Bitcoin was like $1,500. Today it's like $6,000. Look how much money your $100 of Bitcoins could have earned. We need to begin to invest. If we don't have money to invest, then we find ways to minimize what we already pay out, and anything that we could save, then we invest in. Those are the type of things that help us to build a legacy. Will help us. A lot of our people don't even know past our great grandmother, because we don't have those stories. They let that, well, she left this and our grandmother did, and so they pass those stories down to generation after generation. That's how legacies are built. If we don't have those, then we're lost as a people, because we don't know our history. Because we as a people, we don't set ground lines or guidelines of how we're going to enhance our family. Back to what you were talking about, and I don't want to take over, I just want to make sure I hit every point. I agree with you totally, but for me, my concentration on gentrification is the homeowner. I believe gentrification starts and ends at the homeowner. Why? Because homeowners are the ones who say, well, for instance, there was a friend of a friend had a house up on M Street. Their house was worth about $200,000. They knocked on that door year after year. Finally, they got up to $700,000. When they got up to that $700,000, the homeowner sold. Within a year, the house was on the market for $2.2 million. We need to. I'm not telling people through my seminars. I don't tell people don't sell. What I do is tell them to capitalize on your investment the most. If you need good credit, then fix your credit and you renovate. You have people up on Georgia Avenue, who are renting out their homes. They're making anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 a month because they still had their home and they renovated it and now sell them out as units. So a lot of the gentrification for me is dealing with the homeowners, because 82% of Americans don't know you should have a living trust. You should have a living trust if you are a property owner. If you don't have a living trust, then you leave yourself vulnerable for your home to be taken in the near future. So there are so many things that, and I can go on and on and on, but I won't take over your meeting. I'm just a strong advocate that we need to maintain our buildings, our communities, by knocking on those doors, getting these remaining black people's homes in order, their estate planning in order, their tax problems in order. There are a lot of things economically, how they can build economically. So I'm going to end it.
No, what you got? So let's give her a hand. What she is, what Donessa does is get right down to the nuts and bolts of the things that matter. And so what I'm doing with here is the relationship to you, sister, is getting us where we can expose your talents better. You know what I mean? Now that we have all of the momentum, we build the numbers, the contacts, we get our office together. Now we want these regular sessions to take place right here at our office, and then when you want to go out and achieve these objectives, to let people know, we want to be able to help. We also want to be able to get it financed. You know what I mean? The anti-gentrification efforts in the city, the good efforts that you're making, and others, they got to be financed. Brother Ahmed going to work here and work these phones and come to work on a regular basis is going to be financed. We are committed to what I'm telling you. It may not be going as fast as I've said, but we are committed to getting action, and I think we're getting along that road. So we're going to need your help on a regular basis. Need your help. Mr. Cheeks, come on down. We'll end in a few minutes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just have not a question. I just wanted to reiterate the question that I asked you earlier about the music. I'm an artist, and what I'm starting to do is bring more people to this black men's right. Here in DC, and I've been talking to B. Floyd. Actually, I've been talking to B. Floyd since 2011 about this making some music for something like this. But pretty much, I'm taking information about what you're talking about, selling your home too fast, and also what money is being allotted to what for the gentrification situation here. I'm just putting information in the music to bring more people to the idea to make this movement bigger. Pretty much.
Okay, so what I want to do is make sure you take my cell that I gave.
Okay, got it.
Make sure that, because we had to really go deeper into this music thing. We want to have certain, we just want to explore every avenue. Every artist that's in this city, I want to talk to them. All of them that have some kind of role in this.
Okay.
We want to talk to them, we want to reach out to it, and we want to make sure that the music part of this is solid. And it's not locked in at all. So I want to talk with you, I want to consult. There's some other things that may, if this thing is going, gets big, we have talked about possibly getting the DC Army on the night of April 21st to have something that's real big with the conscious artists and so forth. And the bottom line to it is we're not going nowhere without the music and the culture. That's right. But we're not going music and the culture. It's going to be blasting out here. All right, and we want to talk with you about it because it's time. You know, DC, not only is Southeast DC man not had his day, but we know that the DC music artists outside of Wale have not really had their day.
Let my people go though.
Not their day, but it's their time. It's their time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close in a minute. Dale, you ready?
I'm already ready.
Yeah, get ready. Well, it's your time, young man. It's your time, sir. All right, now I'm going to have the last word. Brother, you didn't have a word yet. What is your name?
Reverend Watkins.
Brother, you're awful patient over here. You're awful over here. Reverend, can you close? Let me hear from Mr. Cheeks, and I want you to close us out. Mr. Cheeks, John Cheeks is a strong supporter of mine and ours. That's number one. John Cheeks is just a solid man. I mean, I can't name any time in the last year that we have made a move to do anything and he has not been here and he has not supported us. He's a former city council candidate. He is a man that we are hoping that'll be our representative in office in the in the office next November. This election is being talked about now. He's also working on a referendum. A referendum is a process where you go to the Board of Elections, and if you can get your issue or what you're trying to get put on a referendum, that means it goes on the ballot. And that means when they're voting for mayor and city council, they can also vote on referendum number 1, referendum number 2. You know, and Mr. Cheeks is the first one that really put my mind back onto that because he's pursuing a referendum for recovery, which is a form of reparations or compensation for what our people have been through here. But he's pursuing a recovery referendum. I'm proposing, which I'm going to be asking Brother Ahmed and maybe us, Sister Danessa also, to propose a referendum to get to the language of proposing a referendum against development, against gentrification. Meaning that I think that some language that will pass them rules out, they got rules, the home charter and all of that. I think it would be a heck of a message if the citizens of Washington, D.C. stood up and said, look, we have voted to stop all development. Unless it's a library or a school. I would say park, but you got to be careful with parks. They done built a dog park on you. A library, I want y'all, but I want us to conspiracy about getting us some simple language to put a referendum on the ballot that says we the citizens say that all of this got to stop until we can figure it out. Remember how Trump said we're going to stop anybody from coming in the country until we can get a cooling off period? I believe, now maybe I'm going too far with it, but I believe that there needs to be a moratorium and a cooling off period for development in this city. That too many things are being approved, too many things are going down, nobody knows, it's like a wildfire, and the citizens need to say that it has to stop. And there's ways that we can put that on the ballot. Maybe we'll explore that as one of our first projects. But the man that's already down the road, he's already had it before the Board of Elections. He's going to have it again. And he's fighting for us in general. John Cheeks. Let's give it to him.
Attorney Malik Shabazz speak of the difference between reparations and recovery. One is old school, as our younger population says. But the old school has a steel and iron fist that reaches after the ones who claim lineage rights. Okay? You see the statues coming down, you hear, oh, it's my lineage. The Reparations Act goes after them criminally and prosecutes them for war crimes, crimes against humanity, many other disgusting crimes that you could probably think of. And of course, it doesn't pay our people enough money. The Recovery Act, on the other hand, does not go after them criminally. It goes after them financially. Our people need money now. We need housing now. We have our best and brightest athletes playing in our higher academia institutions for free. That's going to change with the Recovery Act. Any athlete coming out of Washington, D.C., going to anybody's college, whether it's here in D.C. or Maryland, Virginia, they will be paid as a descendant of a slave. That's what this law reads. It'll be mandatory. If you want the benefits, if you want the cash, you have to own a home. You will own a home in the District of Columbia as a Black American, as part of your benefits package. Don't reach for the cash. Reach for the home first, and then you can get some cash. Or if you already have a home, you can get what's called retirement support, which gives you a certain allotment of money to exist here in the city. All I'm saying, people, is that I'm running for office. I'm running openly for reparations and recovery. Openly. I'm not hiding it. I'm not glossing it over because some white people think it's offensive.
Right.
It's not offensive. When I ran last year, I told them, I will protect your wealth, but I am building new wealth for my people that they deserve and that's owed to them. It's not a handout. It's not coming from you. It's coming from the international governments, faith-based organizations and institutions, academia institutions, and a whole slew of them. I can name them all, but we don't have enough time for that. This will be our year to control our destiny for the rest of our lives in D.C. We are getting ours first. We get ours first, the rest of the country will follow suit. Okay? This is about D.C. first. It's so important. Our people need it. Now, for the ones that think that they don't need it, we're going to have a form for them to sign to waiver their claim. Just for them, not the whole family, just for you. You want to be the fool and you don't need it here, please sign this, sir. Leave enough on the table for somebody that might want to do something later on. Okay? So we have to take that approach and attitude. This is not a handout. This is a debt that's owed. Somebody owes you something. Do you look at it as a handout? No. It's something that's owed. It's relief. It'll build you. It'll build your family. You might want to get that house on Connecticut Avenue. Guess what? With the Recovery Act, you can do it. Your credit score doesn't matter. We got 251 years of benefits. This goes on the ballot next year. Please, please be there with me. Be there with the Honorable Shabazz, Dr. Jenkins, Brother Akbar, my brother here in the corner. Is it Brother Ahmed? Ahmed. We are all speaking the same language. We may have different organizations or different methods of assembly, but guess what? After the foundation is laid, it's all the same. We all want to build our people. We have never had an elected official build us. exception of the Honorable Marion Barry. And we're going to do something for him. We're going to rename Ballou High School.
Okay, go right ahead.
That's what I'm going to do. That's the first of my agenda.
Please, black man.
And we even going to give something to Sister Eleanor Holmes North. We're going to rename Woodrow Wilson High after her. I'm tired of looking at Birth of a Nation. It burns me up. I'm serious. I'm tired of... You're going to look at a show and name a high school, a premier high school, after a president who signed an order saying it was against the law for a black man to marry a white woman or a white woman to marry a black man. Here in the United States of America. They should not name anything after him.
What did he say?
It's against the law for interracial marriage.
It should be. That's one of my laws.
They were locking people up back then, brother. They were locking people up. They were locking people up.
It's one of my laws.
They were locking people up.
Anyway.
But here again, we have to rethink. We have to take corrective measures. How we vote, how we elect people in office. See, you elect me in office, it ain't no guessing. I'm about reparations and recovery. Period. Period. It's no guessing. There's no wonder. Okay? So we have to vote for someone who will protect our interests. That's the problem. You can go waste your vote and see what you get. Nothing. So please, next year, let's all come together. You're going to see me out in the street asking for signatures. You're going to see me out in the street reading this, the Recovery Act. We're going to be filing it at the end of the month at the D.C. Board of Elections so we can get it on the ballot for next year. If you all have the time, can I read you the summary statement, how it should read? Injured District of Columbia resident voters whom ancestors' lineage of African or West Indians were victims of crimes against humanity, men, women, children, male or female, by the North American slave transfer, trade, ownership, and labor from 1619 through 1870. District of Columbia taxpayers not responsible for payments to injured residents. Relief benefits for injured residents are mandatory home ownership, education acceptance, employment or career advancement, independent business ownership, contract support, and retirement relief. Minimum age, 18 years old. Individual must pass mandatory DNA tests to claim benefits. A citizen of the United States, settlement period November 10th, 2018 through January 20th, 2268. 251 years. Now when you read that on that ballot next year, by all means, check it. 18 is there for our children. We have to build them too. We can't keep them in the nest.
Right.
Their children are built at 18.
That's right.
Our children have to be built too. They're going to be getting free education. Any loans you might owe for higher learning will be wiped off your credit under this law. You can't go for the money without getting your house first. Remember that. We want you to be here in the district. It's all about DC people. So please, take this and hold it. When we say it's time to move, we all come
Keep your
together.
eyes open. Let's give you a hand. Let's give you a hand. Keep your eyes open. Because it's a process. You know, you got to go to the Board of Elections and they got to approve it. And that's another whole battle. Then if you get it approved, then you got to go out and get a certain amount of signatures from all over the city to even get it on the ballot. But many of these things are worth fighting. They're absolutely worth fighting.
40,000.
As we're going to conclude here, we in the neighborhood. We have everybody. We had a sign-in sheet.
Okay, we got two things. As we
Did
close
you
out,
sign in everybody?
I think, Sister Amy, you get everybody?
Yes, we got everybody signed in.
Okay, so
Everybody signed in,
so
correct?
look, hold 1 second. We're gonna close out right here.
Okay.
And Sister Humphreys.
Yes.
Nigria,
Yes.
come on, talk to us. What's your organization?
And
Well, currently I'm a graduate student at the University of the District of Columbia, but just so happened Mr. Cheeks here walked into the bar there and walked into the wrong place and said, I'm looking for Malik Shabazz. And I said, well, you know, he might be at the restaurant down there, and I direct him in the right direction. And I do know of Malik Shabazz because I spoke on I think at an event that he had 10 years ago in reference to George Bush and the environmental movement. But I guess I'll say La ilaha illallah, hope this message comes off right. I have been doing a lot of research on the school to prison pipeline as a graduate student, and I have through my research I have identified that restorative practices are a new concept that can be looked upon as reparations for African Americans. Is where discipline policies concentrate more on the community and they concentrate more on keeping students in school and nurturing them as far as their emotional intelligence, things that they're not learning at home, because there's certain values of emotions that are innate, but there's certain different types that I learn, and they're more that I learn versus innate. So that's the disconnection with our community and other communities. And years and years have passed. The Brown versus Board of Education, and President Obama did start the Brothers Keepers mentorship program. We also started an equity discipline initiative in 2014. However, because of the new administration, funding for public schools are starting to decrease. So in order for us to pull this restorative practice initiative forward, schools do need more funding because they have to develop teams that will implement this process. Also, the principals in our neighborhood schools, they need more support. The counselor, the chancellor needs some more support in reference to funding because this costs money. This is a whole community change, a whole school change, and it's for the betterment of this society and for our people. And the school reform is something that needs to be on the agenda for every leader in the nation. That's all.
Give him a round of applause. And the most patient man.
Appreciate your work. So how do you suggest that our movement here in general, we have a black men's movement, but we have a general movement called the Stop the Destruction of Black DC. That's the effort we put into Washington, D.C. How can we help you? How can we work together?
I think first we need to, if people have time, is to go down to the court building and sit in some of these court hearings and see which judges are actually, not doing their job, and just making our black men and women go to jail for things that are irrelevant, that don't make sense, that are nonviolent crimes. And that's another thing that President Obama did before he left office, is he made sure that those people who haven't committed nonviolent crimes be released. And I think that his leadership towards the end of his term was for us. And if you do not have the reasoning, and if you don't have the capabilities to be able to filter all of the nonsense and the BS, then you won't be able to take in that information and see how our people can move forward. Because it might be a long time, a very, very long time until we get another president like President Barack Obama. So we as the people have to take what he has laid for us, a path, and we have to move forward with that. We have to see what he has done. We have to analyze this on ourselves. We cannot say he didn't do this, he didn't do this, but what did he do? And we have to move forward because he is a leadership. We did not. We marched, but we didn't have anything concrete. No tangible evidence. Nothing on paper. In 1965, we had the what? In 1964, we had the what? That's why we marched. We had something on paper that Lyndon B. Johnson could sign so our country can move forward. We did not have any of that when President Obama was the president. All we did was talk, Reverend Al Sharpton. All of these leaders, that's all we did was talk. So, since we didn't do our job, now is the time where we move forward and we realize our mistakes and we have to fight for what we have and use our resources to move forward. None of this, he didn't do that, we didn't do that. What did he do?
Okay. How can, let me do this, Sister Amy, please.
Okay, one of the things.
Well, I would actually, no, I think you would be, Brother Ahmed. You get Sister Humphrey's information.
Yeah.
That seems to be a pure DC, either court matter and other matters here, right in the district with the court and the schools.
Yeah.
Let's get it and see how we can try to work with it.
If I can make one little statement, since you said that, come back around. That's part of what we're talking about with the gentrification, because we own, I keep saying, we own everything. We own the city. We own the schools. We started the schools. William T. Southback was the first commissioner of colored schools. Wasn't no schools in this city. When I was a little boy, my grandfather's brother was the superintendent of schools for the district. They charged us 50 cents per child to build the schools and to pay for the teachers and our own education. And we built the entire school system.
That's right.
And when they started selling the schools, talking about surplus property, I fought against them. And the first thing I came down on was, wait a minute. If you made us pay for them, we should have the right of first refusal.
That's right.
We never got it. We own all this stuff. It's ours, we paid for it, and we got to go take it back.
That's right. And I agree with that. And a large part of that is basically focusing in on homeschooling. Even for this March, we want homeschoolers, we want independent schools. We want to start creating an atmosphere where we understand that we have a duty to make sure we take back our school system. We're not trying to fight for the white man's school system. However, we are for fighting against injustice within the school system. But we also are for building our own independent structure within our own, because we have the capability as a black nation to build our own schools, be a major influence in charter schools, and also create a significant parent advocate group that will fight on behalf of the parents and their issues that place with our children, with the issues that they face. So those are some of the things that we definitely want. All that you said is everything that we need to face at this convention, and everything that we need to face as far as workshops and the things that we need to do to be able to promote our own independent school system.
Yes. And on that, we actually the school, but
I would like you to get Ahmed's number. When we leave here, we're going to solidify the arrangements for the opening up of our office here. That's going to be right in this area.
At Shabazz University.
And so we want to sit with you further here. I understand that, but I'm talking right here. I'm speaking now to people that live in the District of Columbia and that are interested in certain policy, either changes or a thrust or a tax inside of the District of Columbia. Am I right?
Yes.
You're talking about with the court system and the school system, right? Let us get your information here because we're opening up our office here. And that what you're talking about, there's some things that we can meet on. Like when you say here, holding judges accountable, see, from Black Lawyers for Justice, that's something that I want to talk to you about. There's some things that I can meet you with the ground on. I'm always interested in some people that want to go down, that want to monitor the court system, and that want to hold people accountable. We just don't necessarily have the personnel or that person that comes in that's please make sure. And we get started. Now, you work here in this area?
Yes. Well, currently, I actually just came from MLK. I'm doing my teaching observation there. But yeah, so I'm in school. I have like 17.
As we try and do, we have an online school opening up. It is ShabazUniversity.org. It opens up on the ShabazUniversity.com and .org. It opens on December 2nd. Independent online schooling system. However, the reality is that my daughter is in DC public schools, and a whole lot of people is in DC public schools, and our movement has to address what's going on in DC public schools. Whether we can change the whole system or not, we have to be able, those parents want to know that we're involved there. And also, when it comes to this march and this movement, we have to go in there because the young men, not that there's not a problem with sisters, there is, but the young men in the middle schools, see, let's look at this. The middle schools got to be out. The high schools got to be out. The 9-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 11-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the 13, 14, 15. If they're not locked into what we're doing, we're failing. So you into the schools, right?
Yes.
We got to talk about these. We got to talk about these schools because I met some leaders of preparatory academies and others that are operating in this area that wanted us to come by and speak. And by all means, there's something in it for them, and we want the parents to know. We want as I conclude, and let Pastor close out, the parents and the mothers in this community must know that their sons, that this is something that's for their sons and for the young men and boys in this community, and that out of all these great things we're talking about, that 10-year-old, that 12, that 13-year-old vulnerable male, that one out there whose father is not there, that's mama that had him all them years. One of the messages we're about to come out with soon is for this convention, this march, and this whole process is what? Send your sons to us. Send your sons to us, because as many strong men as in here, there's going to be 100 women, sisters we can bring in here that's saying the father is not on the scene or he's not adequately on the scene. Can you help me with my son? And we want to credibly say, we can help you with your son. Some things we might be disagreeing with, Mr. Beyond. Some people say that Obama's the greatest, and some people in here don't like it. But I hear what you're talking about. Therefore, that's why I want to connect with you. God bless you.
The last thing
God
on
bless you. Go ahead,
education.
my dear brother. Yes, sir.
Then not just a few times, brothers and sisters. Many times, DC public schools have produced the brightest in this city, the brightest in the country, maybe some of the brightest in the world. Came straight out of DC public school. I just want you to imagine the library that's in Kansas, where Bob Dole comes from, the library in Arkansas, where Clinton and them studied, in Illinois, can fit inside of Dr. Martin Luther King Library. If you got an uncle on his A game, he's going to take you to research in the Library of Congress. You got a cousin that works at Goddard Space. Another aunt is over here at the Pentagon, and you on your A game academic. How can anyone in the nation even match you? It's just DC public schools have been underrated, and we, the black people, we the people, allow them to underrate our public school. We got a hell of a public school system, and Dr. King said, when you use it. And the last thing I want to say on behalf of our pastor, this will close out, the most patient man, and I've been clergy 43 years, the most patient man I found in the clergy business, again, is Pastor Mark. They call him the pen man. They pick all of the pens, steady those pens, but Mark, the pen man Perez, is an awesome man.
Let me reiterate this. If it's 10,000, imagine if 3,000 of them were between the ages of 12 and 18. Huh? Imagine this. Imagine the parents and the schools and the kids all saying, look, we're going to this.
Right.
We're going against Trump, or we're going out there to this. It's our time, Mommy. It's my time, Daddy. Think about this. It's not just those of us who are adults. We got to get these youth ready to do about anything necessary to reach them and to get them, because they will turn out. Pastor, you have been patient and kind. Would you please close us out?
Salam alaikum.
Walaikum
Salam
salam.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Black Power.
Black Power.
We come together as we create apps with Black Data Process Associates, and we locate employment programs for sports and for people of color, for engineering and military. And we create email addresses for homeless vets. So, giving praise and honor to God, my higher power, I bring greetings from brothers and sisters of the faith fight. Well wishes as the chaplain of the Lot Carey World Missions of Alabama, New Orleans, and next year, Atlanta, Georgia. In the spirit of our personal mentors of Dick Gregory, Dr. Dorothy Height, Dr. Sister Precious Wilson, Reverend Leon Sullivan, on the historic Martin Luther King of Brother Calvin Rollard, coming and representing charter members of the 1,000 Voice Choir of the Million Man March. I'm a 9/11 Ground Zero rescue worker, formerly of the prayer team of President Obama for the state of Texas, and also survived Katrina hurricane for both Texas and New Orleans. Active member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes with New Light Christian Center Church, Christian producer and rap artist host. And I'm reminded of human rights. It's all spelled in the name. Helping us, motivating, alert, networking, resources in God's here teaching spirituality. Honorary member of National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. Let's link up and hook up. And being national spokesperson in the Association of Black Professional Firefighters, being born on the same birthday of Trayvon Martin, I feel personally responsible for what's going on in this intrepid thing of what we have to deal with, and with his family and his dreams. We will have a hand up, not a handout. Being the spokesperson of STEM with National Medical Association representing my alumni, Xavier University, let's connect the dots and keep out the knots. Being co-founder of Achilles Kids Track Club of Ghana, West Africa, with Ambassador Kobe Coomson, with the vision of President Nelson Mandela in Harlem and other places in New York. We stand on the shoulders of the heroes and sheroes, like First Lady Michelle Obama, and in the spirit of Queen Mother Moore, Flo Kennedy, Brother Ron Brown, Reginald Lewis, Reginald Harris, Percy Sutton, Darwin Davis Sr., Dr. John Henry Clark, Brother Lambert Brown, and so many more, from the motherland to the other land. Being the honorary Tuskegee Airman of Los Angeles, honorary member of Buffalo Soldiers Museum, Houston, Texas, and as a future candidate of U.S. Senate in 2020, future candidate of first governor of Washington, D.C. So let's support Sister Maya running for governor in Maryland. We are praying that President Donald Duck Tripping Trump and billionaire Bozo, where Bozo has more integrity than he does, that he moves out and moves on. So let's respect and protect the black woman. Isn't it quite poetic that the largest national civil rights movement is going to be in Selma, Alabama, in the same month, same year of April of 2014, with the National 10,000 Black Men's March Convention. As we continue winning and winning, it's God first, family second, and business third. Each one, reach one, to teach one. To God be the glory. Stay blessed and not stressed. And we ask you, Holy Spirit, to bless our selfless work to all in the mighty name of Jesus and in Allah. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. On your feet, please. On your feet. Thank you all so much. Look, just repeat after me. Strong. 10,000. 10,000. Black men strong.
Black men strong.
10,000.
10,000.
Black men strong.
Black men strong.
10,000.
10,000.
Black men strong.
Black men strong.
All right, y'all. We're going to get to work. Let's just be right back. We work this thing. Let's work it.
And Brother Dula just joined us in the last minute.
The flyers that you guys have, it'd be great because these are color and they're kind of cardboardish. You can post them in local stores. It's best to post them with some tape. That's probably the best. I wouldn't hand them out just on the street. Please just make sure you post them inside lot of stores or whatever type of establishments. Community centers, wherever you can get them up.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Come Tuesday night.
369.
Yeah.
So pennies on it.
Well, at least I got this.
I said